my dear students, I hope you all must be doing great. This is me Seema Banjari, and once again I welcome you to my channel. Take it seriously. Today we are going to start a new chapter number 4 of class 9 CBSE, and the name of the chapter is linear equations in two variables. So this chapter is really important and interesting and easy. Easy or hard, depends on how much grip do you have on that topic. If you know the tits and bits of that concept, that topic, it becomes easy for you. Well, that's quite subjective, but one thing is really sure, that this chapter is really important, not from the point of view of its importance in the examination, but from the point of view of its utility in solving the questions from various branches of mathematics, be it algebra, geometry, trigonometry, or arithmetic for that matter, right? So let's see what all we are going to discuss in today's class. So the first thing that we will study in today's class is definitely going to be what are linear equations in two variables. Then we will move on to discuss why linear equations in two variables. Basically, we will be discussing why, what is the practical relevance of linear equations in two variables in our lives. Then we will move on to discuss standard form of linear equations in two variables. And fourth, we'll be talking about solutions of linear equations in two variables. And at last, we will discuss equations of lines passing through a point. So that's all we are going to study in today's class. So let's start with the what part. What are linear equations in two variables? Let's break down the name of the chapter. So it's linear equation, right? Linear equation in two variables, okay? Right? So linear equation. What are linear equations? So linear equations are degree 1 equations. So these are degree 1 equations. So degree 1 equations are x plus y is equal to 5. So this is the degree 1 equation. Okay, the highest power of the variable is 1. So that's why it is a degree 1 equation. So it is a linear equation, right? Y is equal to 5. This is a degree 1 equation. Okay, so that's why it is a linear equation. So basically linear equations are the degree 1 equation, right? If you want to understand it geometrically, so geometrically, if you plot the these equations on graph, these linear equations on graph, they will give you a line. So line, linear word comes from this line, linear. Okay, so two things. Linear equations are the equations, are degree 1 equations, which when plotted on graph gives you a line, right? So let's come to the second part. Two variables. So linear equations in two variables. So two variables can be like x plus y is equal to 7. So this is linear equations in two variables because it has got two variables, x and y. X minus y is equal to 3. This is again linear equation in two variables. 5 upon 2 x minus y is equal to 7. Again, this is a linear equation and it has got two variables. That's why it is a linear equation in two variables. Okay, so that's the meaning of linear equations in two variables. Now let's see, why are we actually studying this topic? What is the relevance? What is the relevance of linear equations in two variables in our day-to-day life, in our life? Okay, so let's see. Linear equations in two variables have got a lot of applications and relevance in our day-to-day life. As I mentioned earlier also, that these equations are quite useful in solving different questions and problems from various branches of mathematics. So here we'll be mentioning a few uses of linear equations in two variables. Here we go. Linear equations in two variables are used to solve age-related problems. These are also used to solve speed, distance, and time-related questions. These are handy in solving problems related to products, expenditure, prices, and savings. These are really useful in solving work, time, and wages-related problems. And these equations are also used in geometry. So these are a few applications of linear equations in two variables. So the list is really long. Well, these were a few uses of few applications of linear equations in two variables. Now let's move on to the next topic, standard form of a linear equation. So ax plus by plus c is equal to 0. So this is the standard form of a linear equation, right, where x and y are variables, right? These two are variables. Okay, a and b are coefficients. So these are coefficients of x and y respectively. A, b are coefficients of x and y respectively, whereas this term C, this is a constant term C, right, which doesn't have any variable. So this is a constant. Okay, now you will say what values A and B can have. So A, B are real numbers. Okay, so these are real numbers, but the condition is that A and B both cannot be 0 at the same time, right? They both cannot be 0 at the same time. Why so? Let's say if both becomes 0, let's take a linear equation in two variables. I'm just taking it here. 2x plus 3y plus 4 is equal to 0, right? So this is a linear equation in two variables. Let's say the coefficient of x and y both becomes 0, right? They both becomes 0. So what will happen? This equation will reduce to 4 equal to 0. If both these coefficients, both the values of A and B becomes 0, what will happen? So we'll be left with only 4 is equal to 0, right? Is it possible? 4 is equal to 0. Is it possible? No, right? So that's why A and B both cannot be 0 at the same time. So this is the condition, that A and B are real numbers, but they both cannot be 0 at the same time, right? So let's solve some more questions based on standard form of linear equations. Well, let's solve this question on standard form. You have to write these equations in their standard forms. So this is the first equation, 4 is equal to 5x minus 3y. You have to write this in standard form. So what is standard form? Standard form says ax plus by plus c is equal to 0. So this is the standard form of a linear equation, right? So here you can see 4 is equal to 5x minus 3y. What we will do, we can just write, swap LHS and RHS. So we can write it 5x minus 3y. Minus 3y is equal to 4. So what I have done, I have just swapped the LHS and RHS, LHS to RHS and RHS to the LHS. Now I want the C. There is nothing on the right hand side. You see in the standard form. So I'll bring the 4 towards the LHS. So it will become 5x minus 3y minus 4 is equal to 0. So this is equation I have, converted in the standard form. Now let's come to this thing. Let's write this equation in standard form. Okay, 2x is equal to y. So what we'll do, we'll bring y to the left hand side. It will become 2x minus y is equal to 0, right? So there is no coefficient, right? So what we'll write, minus y plus 0 is equal to 0. There is no coefficient means there is no constant term means the constant term is 0. So this is the standard form. 2x minus y is equal to 0 is the standard form of this equation, right? So let's solve one more question. So you have to solve this question. Write this equation as equation in two variables. Okay, so you have an equation in front of you, but this is a degree 1 equation. This equation is a degree 1 equation with only one variable. So you have to write this equation in two variables. Okay, so first of all, what we will do, we'll bring everything that is on the right side to the left hand side. So minus 5 is on the right side. So what we'll bring it towards the LHS. So it will become x plus 5 is equal to 0, right? Now I need two variables. Okay, so I'll insert one more variable, that is y. But how I'll insert it? I'll make its coefficient 0. So 0, y is nothing but 0. So that way my equation won't get distorted. So x plus 0, y plus 5 is equal to 0. So this is how I can write this equation as equation in two variables, right? So let's move to the next question. Here is another question for you. Write in standard form and indicate A, B and C for this equation. So first of all, you have to write this in standard form. So in standard form, everything is towards the left hand side. So whatever is on the right hand side, you see 6 is on the right hand side of the equation. So we'll bring it to the left hand side. Okay, and let's do it. So minus 2x plus 3y. 6 will come to the left hand side. Its sign will get changed. Minus 6 is equal to 0, right? So nothing is left on the right hand side, everything is on the left hand side. And now you have to indicate the values of A, B and C. So what is A and B? These are the coefficients of x and y respectively. So minus 2, so the coefficient of x is minus 2 and coefficient of y is 3. Now what is A? A is minus 2, B is 3, and what is C? So many of the students will write it as 6. No. Okay, because the standard form is ax plus by plus c plus c. This is the standard form, right? So what is c here? C is minus 6. So c is minus 6, right? So be careful while writing these values, because this question is, like you'll get this question in 1 mark question. You may get it as 1 mark question in your examinations. So be careful while doing it. Now let's move on to the next topic of the day. So next topic is solutions of linear equations in two variables, right? So solutions means that values of variables that satisfies the equation. Now let's talk about solutions of linear equation in one variable first. So by that what I mean, let's take a linear equation in one variable. Let's say x minus 5 is equal to 0. So linear equation, so this is a linear equation in one variable, okay, one variable. So linear equations in one variable has only one solution, one unique solution that will satisfy the equation. So in this case, what is that value of x? 5. So at x equal to 5, this equation will get satisfied. X 5 minus 5 is 0. So 5 satisfies this equation. It means this equation has got only one solution, one unique solution, that is x equal to 5, right? So what I want to infer from this, that linear equations in one variable has one unique solution. But let's talk about linear equations in two variables, okay? So linear equations in two variables, let's take an example. Let's take a situation. If I say the cost of a book and a notebook, for that notebook, the cost of a book and a notebook is 150 rupees, let's say. Okay, the cost of a book and a notebook is 50 rupees. So let's assume that the book was of x rupees and the notebook was of rupees y. I together bought these two things and I paid 50 rupees. So what are the possibilities? Okay, so what are the possibilities? Okay, so it is possible that the book would be of 20 rupees and the notebook is of 30 rupees. So these are the two values, right? X can be 20 or y can be 30. Okay, what can be other possibility? Other possibility can be that the cost of the book was 10 rupees and the notebook was only for 40 rupees. Okay, so this is another solution that will satisfy the equation. 10 plus 40 is 50. Okay, what can be other scenario? The book was also for 25 rupees and the notebook was also for 25 rupees. So this is another solution for this equation, 25. Okay, this way you can get a lot of solutions for this equation. What I want to make clear here, so the point that we get from this thing is a linear equation in two variables can have multiple solutions. It can have infinite number of solutions, right? So it can have infinite values of x and y that will satisfy this equation. Okay, so here is a question for you. Find 4 solutions of x plus 2y is equal to 6. You can see this is a linear equation in two variables, so it can have infinite number of solutions, right? But we have to find out only 4 solutions. So 4 solution means we have to find 4 such values of x and y, both which will satisfy this equation. Okay, how we are going to do this? First of all, how I do it? I just make a column or matrix here, like so. Okay, I have to find out 4 values, right? So x and y. I have to find out 4 values, 4 solutions of x and y each, which will satisfy this equation. Okay, so how we'll proceed? Let's assume, you assume any of these variables according to your choice. Let's say let x is equal to 0. Okay, so let's replace x with 0. So at x is equal to 0, this equation will become like this, and the value of y will become 6 upon 2 is 3. So y will be 3. So when x is 0, y is 3, right? So similarly, you can try with some other values also. at x is equal to, so once I have taken x as 0, next I'll take y as 0. Okay, so this is the easiest way of finding out the solutions. So y is 0. So once you put y as 0, it will become x plus 2y. 2y means 2 into 0. 2 into 0 is equal to 6. So 2 into 0 is 0 and x is equal to 6. Right? So what is the value of x here? X is equal to 6. So when y was 0, I got x as 6. Now let's try with some other values. Put x as 2. X is equal to 2. Let x is equal to 2. So once I replace x with 2, what I'll get? 2 plus 2y is equal to 6. Means 2y is equal to 6 minus 2 means 4. So y will be 4 upon 2. That is 2. So at x equal to 2, y is 2. Is it okay? Is it correct? 2, 4. Yes, it's correct, right? So at, now next value, x is equal to, let's say, minus 2. So at x is equal to minus 2. So minus 2 plus 2y is equal to 6. So minus 2 plus 2y is equal to 6. Minus 2 will go to the right hand side. It will become 8. So y will become 8 upon 2. That is 4. Okay. So y will become 4 at x is equal to minus 2. So these are 4 values of x and y that will satisfy this equation. Okay. So I have got my 4 values, 4 solutions. So these are my 4 solutions. So 4 solutions means these are 4 points. Okay. So what are my 4 solutions? 0, 3, right? Second solution is 6, 0. Third solution is 2, 2. And fourth solution is minus 2, 4. 4 solutions means 4 points. Okay. So these are the 4 solutions for this linear equation. Right. Similarly, you can find out, infinite number of solutions for a linear equation, right? So let's move to the next question. So here is a question for us. So this question says, find the value of k if x is equal to 2 and y is equal to 1 is the solution of this linear equation. Okay, so these are the solution of this equation, means these values will satisfy the equation, right? So these are the solutions and you have to find out the value of k. So what we'll do, we'll put these values into the equation and then solve. So in place of x, we'll place 2 and we'll replace y with 1 because these are the solutions. So they are going to satisfy the equation. So let's do it. So 2 into x in place of x, what we'll do? We'll place 2, right? So this is what I'm doing, plus 3y. So in place of y, what I need to replace y with? 1 is equal to k. So 2 into 2, 4, 4 plus 3 is 7. So value of k is 7, right? So this is the value of k. Cool? Let's move to the last concept of the day, and that is equations of lines passing through a point. Okay, we'll understand this concept with the help of this example, right? So what we are trying to find out? We are trying to find out the equations of line that pass through a point. Now you are given a point in space, right? This is a point, let's say. Okay, this is point A. So tell me how many lines can pass through this point? Obviously, many, infinite number of lines can pass through this point AA, right? So one line can be like this, one can be like this, one can be like this. Okay, so this way many lines can pass through this point. So infinite number of lines can pass through a given point. What this question asks you to find out, it asks you to tell 3 lines, equations of 3 lines that will pass through this point 2, 4. Okay, so we have to find out 3 lines, equations of 3 lines that will pass through this given point 2, 4. So how we'll do it? Okay, so 2, 4, right? So our x is 2 and y is 4, right? Now let's write it. 2 plus 4 is 6. Okay, so 2 plus 4 is 6. So 2 is x and y is 4. So my first equation is x plus y is equal to 6. Now I have to make use of these 2 numbers, right? And in that equation, I'll replace 2 with x and 4 with y. Now let's write 2 minus 4 is what? Minus 2, right? 2 minus 4 is minus 2, means 2x and this is y. So x minus y is equal to minus 2. Okay, now let's take another case. 2 into 2. I'm using these numbers, right? I'm using these numbers in these equations. So 2 into 2 plus 4. 2 into 2 is 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. Okay, so this is x and this is y. It means 2 into x plus y is equal to 8. So I've got my 3 equations that will pass through this point. So this is equation number 1, equation number 2 and equation number 3, right? So you can find out, many lines that will pass through a given point. You just need to use the values, and in those values, like you need to use these values, and make an equation, and in that equation you replace x and y accordingly. Okay, and with this we have come to the end of this video. Before going, I would request you to please like, share and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye bye.